there's something you should know about today. It's true today, it was true yesterday, and it will be true tomorrow. It is a wonderful day. Life is for living. It's your attitude. That's what it's up to you. What do you want to be? How do you want to be? So today I want to talk about just some observations on people. Not necessarily just expats, but because I'm living around some expats, especially online, I'll be using them as examples because that's where I am right now. But it's true for anyone, no matter where you are, what part of life you're in. I think a lot of this is true. Now, I don't see myself as an effusive personality. I don't come flittering into the room and they go, oh, there's Tim, he lights up the room. I don't think that's me. I'm okay with that. It does not mean I'm unhappy. It just kind of means I'm not a bubbly guy. At least I don't think people see me that way. Do you ever know how other people see you? I'm pretty sure they don't see me as a loud, bubbly, happy-go-lucky guy. But I'm relatively happy. And it's your choice to be happy. It's your choice to be miserable. There's an attitude in the Philippines that when you first encounter it, many expats are frustrated by it. I know I was. When I first saw this, I saw it as a defeatist attitude. You'll be talking about something and complaining, why is this, what is that? You know? And they don't always say anything. Sometimes it's just the shrug. It's the Filipino shrug is how I refer to it. When you say it, other expats know exactly what you mean. Sometimes they will say it with, what you gonna do? Such is life. That's the way it is. Well, such as life is more something I would say. They'll say, it's just the way it is. Now, like I said, when I first saw that, I saw that as defeatist. No, what are you gonna do? You can't fight City Hall. You can't change it. Poor me, what can I do? They don't mean it that way, I don't think. It's a little more of, there are things you can change, there are things you cannot change. If you cannot change it, don't worry about it. And I already had that attitude for the most part when I got here. I just didn't realize that a lot of times we were saying the same things, we just were saying it differently. So like, I had to convince my wife that when I'm complaining about, oh, it's so hot, I don't expect her to go out and fix it. She's not going to change the weather. It's in my DNA. I'm American. We bitch about things. That's the way we are. In the Navy, they would say a bitching sailor is a happy sailor. So sometimes we complain. Sometimes we don't mean it. We just complain. And my wife was very tired of that. And finally one day she was just, she was exasperated. She's like, why do you complain about things you cannot change? And I thought that was actually really good advice. For example, I had a rent house that I was living in. It was a bamboo house. There was no windows. There were openings, but no, kind of like this behind me. It was open, but no glass, no windows. Though the wall and the roof never actually connected, so it was all open. I actually kind of liked the house. It was nice, but it was loud. You may or may not hear the thump thump behind me. Well, my house is cement. It's got solid mahogany doors. It's got glass. I close up the house. not so bad. That house could not escape the noise, and it just got to be too much. We were going to move. I told the landlady, I said, it's just too loud. Here's my 1 month notice. And she rolls her eyes. She goes, oh, she goes, I hate this noise. It's so loud. I can't sleep. And she shrugged. And I think she actually said, what are you going to do? And I kind of smiled, and I says, I'm going to move, and you're going to quit getting rent money. That's what we're going to do. I knew better than to try and go talk to the people, because they just see, oh, there's some foreigner coming in complaining. Now, she might have been able to talk to the barangay captain, maybe got something done. I doubt it. And she knew she wasn't going to get anything done, so she didn't complain. She lives with it. 2 years later, the house that I rented is still vacant. No one is probably ever going to rent it, because we're out in the middle of nowhere, and it was just an extra house in her yard. It was a bamboo house. It was convenient for us, so we liked it. But it was loud. It's still loud. We're in the same neighborhood now, but I can, like I said, my house is more solid. I can close out the noise. But when she had that shrug, that was when one of the times it really clicked with me. You know, she's like, you know, she was saying how much she hated it. She was going to be losing a lot of money. It was cheap rent for me, but it was, you know, decent money for her. And at first you want to go, you know, why be like that? You know, you can change it. You can do this. You can do that. Don't try and change it. This is their country. We are guests. Be happy. You know, that's just let it go. My dad told me many years ago, never retire. You will be bored. You will be miserable. I was like, no, Dad. You will be bored. Because he was. I like it. I quit work 4 years ago. Kind of miss seeing the guys on a daily basis, because we had a lot of fun. It was a decent job. We had a lot of fun. I don't miss work. I like doing nothing. I like just hanging out. I live on a rice field, for God's sake. It's an hour to get to the city. I did enjoy living in the city, but, you know, this is nice here. It's just quiet, for the most part. These guys. Anyway, but the different people here bring their attitudes and their perceptions with them. Now we have some different types of expats. You have the working expat, which is usually younger. They generally seem to have a good attitude, I think, because they're busy, they're doing things. They don't have time just to sit around and get mad. I know, there's daily issues and there's stress. But overall, they're working, they might have a family, they're just living. And it's more like we were in the U.S. You're just working, you know. You have the party guys, they just party all the time, they're retired, they're loving it. Some of them enjoy it. Some of them seem to get burned out after a while. You know, it's your attitude. Mostly what we have here in Iloilo, because we have very little of a bar scene. We don't have a lot of working girls. We have a lot of the married and settled down. These were a little older, retired. A lot of them had their wives with them in the U.S. They were both retired. They came here. Some of them retired, came here and met somebody, but just married and settled down. Again, most of them seem pretty happy. Some get a little bored, they get in a rut. A lot of it when you're married and you have the wife and her whole family baggage, a lot depends on your wife and her family and their expectations and how good you can say no. Some of it is all about money. If you pick a good person and have a good family, then it's not. My wife doesn't ask for money for herself or for her family. We have our budget, we spend it, we share the money. It's not a problem. We don't fight about money. It's fine. There's the low budget guys, which I'm in that category. I'm the married and settled and low budget. Low budget guys, we don't have a lot of money. Now, you let that get to you and you stress and you worry about money, it'll bring your attitude down really bad. This is not a good country to be poor. There is no social safety net. When they say there's no food for dinner, they mean there's no food. When we say there's no food for dinner, that means I got food in the refrigerator and the pantry. I just don't want any of it. I'm too lazy to cook it, whatever. There's nothing to eat. There's food. Even me, we don't have a lot of money, but look at me. Believe me, there's food. But on low budget, things can get tight. We have a built-in perception of being rich. You show up, you're a long nose, you're rich. The fact that you can travel 8,000 miles from home for a vacation or to move already does kind of put you a step above the average family here. We're running around, we got cameras, we got laptops, we got all our gadgets. So we put off the perception of being rich. I may feel poor, but even with as little as I get, I'm still middle class, Filipino standard. And I don't do nothing. I have a check that comes in once a month. Now, when I actually retire in another couple of years, then I'll have more money, I'll be more comfortable. But I'm not stressing about it now. Can't stress it. Attitudes can vary across the spectrum. You can be working, retired, family, party. It could be a low life, whatever. You can have a good attitude, you can have a bad attitude. Unhappy people are just going to be unhappy. Whether it's here or back home. I think one of the things you have to ask yourself, if you're looking at moving overseas, is why? Why do you want to come? Why do you want to leave your friends and family? Why do you want to move 7,000 miles away? Are you running from something? Then don't bother coming, because whatever problems you had, you're going to bring them with you. If you feel like you're in a rut and you just want to get out and see new things, this might work. But if you're the kind of person that allows yourself to get in a rut, when you get here, you will get in a rut. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a rut, but it's a pretty rut, It's the gilded cage, right? But I wasn't running from anything. I was happy in the U.S. There are presidents and policies that you may or may not like. They're temporary. Changes, new things change. Some laws good, some laws bad. Politicians come and go. Day-to-day life doesn't change that much. And it's the same thing here. Day-to-day life is just day-to-day life. Doesn't matter who's in charge. Doesn't matter what changes they promise are coming or not. Putting food on the table, taking care of the family, enjoying your friends. Day-to-day life is the same. Pretty much the world over. Details are different, but people's needs are kind of the same.
Enjoy your day in paradise.